How you doing? I'm Michael Bell, the voice of Duke.
Hi, this is Adrienne Palicki, Lady J from G.I. Joe.
Hey there, it's Rachel Nichols, aka Scarlett.
And if you're listening,
And you're listening to
And you are listening to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe with Greg and Jaren.
Yo, Joe!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe. My name is Greg Engel,
And I'm Jaren Decker.
and we'll be your host today. Today on Anything Joe's, we're going to catch up on some news. We're going to talk about some recent acquisitions. We're going to talk about the crunch of financially staying on top of the classified line and the challenges therein. Before we do that, let's get straight to the news. We got a couple of quickies. First news item. Trick or Treat Studios is proud to present the latest addition to the holiday horrors line, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander. Based on the original G.I. Joe line, this resin collectible is crafted to the smallest detail. Comes in a beautiful collector's window box. It doesn't need to be the holiday to treat yourself to one of our holiday horrors. Perfect for any occasion and officially licensed in partnership with Hasbro. Okay, so, pretty self-explanatory, except the fact that these are Christmas ornaments sold by a Halloween studio that's using an 80s children's toy on a line called Holiday Horrors. There are some complications with that, but we'll just trim it down to Christmas ornaments. They're kind of like bust style, so there are no arms, nothing below like the belly button, basically. This is the I don't know why I always forget, this is the V2 Snake Eyes, like the popular Snake Eyes, and Faceplate Cobra Commander. Both of these look really good, and is something that I could actually probably get away with in my house. My wife is pretty big into Christmas stuff. I think this is the kind of thing that I could probably sneak in there and be like, I also am a huge fan of Christmas. $19.99 each. That's fair, I guess. I don't have a lot of experience buying Christmas ornaments, but I think that's a fair price. Jaren, what's your take on this?
It's just you could have given me 20 guesses on what random thing we were gonna talk about in this episode, and I would never have guessed Christmas ornament busts from a Halloween horror line. It's just I don't. I love Christmas, but I don't care for ornaments just because they always break. As cool as they are, it's not something that's for me. And if it is for you, great, awesome, like that's fantastic. But for me, it's just it will be broken the moment it comes home.
Well, said the man with 20 kids. I get it. Yeah. I have several cats. It's hard to have a tree inside your house. These guys,
can't imagine.
Trick or Treat Studios also, they've got like some kind of wall decor collection, which I think is like those big vinyl like fathead stickers that you put on your wall. They also did the Cobra Commander helmet, not the one that GameStop sold exclusively. This came out after that. I don't have this one. I don't think Jaren picked it up either, but I'm told it's actually supposed to be slightly better than the GameStop one. Although I did get that one on a pretty extreme discount, so I'm not too upset about it. But that's kind of their other claim to fame. So they're just doing some kind of weird, adjacent licensed property stuff. Something to keep your eye on. Everything they've made looks good, and if that helmet's better than the one that I've got, then it's got to be pretty good quality. That's another one that I'm hoping will just get marked down, kind of in the off season, and I can pick it up. I don't exactly need two helmets, but I do also want the better. If there's a better one, I want that one. All right. Next news item. G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra announced for Switch and PC. Publisher Freedom Games and developer Maple Powered Games have announced G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra for console and PC, which launches in Q1 2024. Here's an overview of the game via its Steam page. Cobra rears its ugly head yet again and is up to G.I. Joe to save the world. Embracing the 1980s era of the iconic universe, Wrath of Cobra is a retro, side-scrolling beat-em-up. Play as one of the legendary G.I. Joe characters, including Duke, Scarlet, Roadblock, Snake Eyes, and more. Defeat hordes of Cobra troopers, Vipers, Crimson Guards, and more of Cobra's malevolent machinations. Bring Cobra down, striking back at the likes of Destro, Serpentor, Baroness, and Cobra Commander himself. Fight your own way. Rely on your fist and get up close and personal using each character's unique combos and special moves, or keep your foes at a distance with a variety of weapons. Key features. Retro gameplay in a modern era. Wrath of Cobra takes the classic arcade beat 'em up and brings it into the modern age. Easy to play, hard to master, and smoother than a ride in a hiss. Want to play with your friends? The game supports local multiplayer from your couch and online co-op. Play as classic heroes. Fight Cobra as your favorite G.I. Joe heroes, painstakingly recreated in beautiful pixel art. The differences between characters aren't just cosmetic. Each hero has different movesets and unique abilities. From the fast and nimble Snake Eyes to the rough and tumble Roadblock, each character is true to form. Battle iconic villains. Cobra isn't just the Cobra Commander, it's also its legions. Face hordes of troopers, armored alley vipers, artificial bats armed with some of the most iconic weapon systems in the franchise, including the Hiss, Claw, and the notorious Trouble Bubble. Retro-infused soundtrack. Foil the Commander's plot to the beat of classic G.I. Joe themes, reimagined by industry veterans at Kit Katana Records, bringing a modern twist to classic arcade music. Post-launch support. Like Destro's plots, Wrath of Cobra will continue with extensive post-launch support, bringing more G.I. Joe heroes into the fray, adding new game modes, levels, and more to keep the G.I. Joe legacy alive. That's a lot of words when I could just show you the trailer. Let's take a look at the trailer.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly...
So they got new music, they made new animation, which you might feel, varying degrees about. This is obviously not Pixar Studios here, but I think it looks okay for what it is. The song does sound like a Spy Troops music video, extra cut. It's just
Look, I'm in love. I love this.
Why are they attacking? It looked like Cobra was attacking from their base, like they're in front of headquarters. Weird. Ripcord is such a, just like not what you would expect to see as the 5th member of this team, or 6th, or whatever.
This is giving me flashbacks to that Community episode. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, it's just like one step away from Flash animation. It's cool to see the Steel Kaiju, or whatever it's actually officially called. That's obviously a direct cartoon nod. I like the logo presentation. It's really reminiscent of the original cartoon. And then there's like a hammerhead pod in the water. There's the Invader.
There's the Invader.
Yeah,
A little bit of Star Brigade. It's Star Brigade.
Those are like the female Cobra Legion troopers. And it's also got the Hasbro Retro Arcade logo on it, which is a news item that came out this week where they were talking about they want to get way more involved in the the digital front, which makes sense. Every one of these properties lends itself to the video game era. Now, there's always a subset of fans that are like, just make a Call of Duty and people will love it. But Call of Duty is like a bajillion-dollar game. It costs so much money. You have to have a diehard, legion of people that will play it. And G.I. Joe doesn't have that. Not at this time. This, on the other hand, I think is a brilliant idea because it's invoking nostalgia, retro games of that era. It lends itself to this type of gameplay. I think G.I. Joe's always kind of fits this beat 'em up, Streets of Rage, Fatal Fury vibe. Looks extremely reminiscent to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game that came out.
Which was phenomenal.
Which was very good, yeah. You could kind of knock it out in I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours. Wasn't, super challenging. They did have post-launch content where they put Casey Jones as a DLC character, so we could see more characters later on. If we're lucky and it does well, maybe they have extra levels or a whole separate expansion. I think most people are probably pretty excited about this. I did not look to see what these two guys have made in the past.
Nothing that I had heard of. Nothing that I had heard of.
Maple Power Games is not does not ring a bell at all. And you're talking to two guys that worked in the video game retail side of things for quite a while. So if I don't know them, they're either very new or very bad. No, even if they were very bad, I would know them. So everything that I see here checks all the boxes. This is no doubt going to be a day one purchase for me. Jaren and I'll probably be playing it online like day and date. Jaren, what do you think about this?
I'm pumped for this game. Like you said, that TMNT, that Shredder's Revenge game, I loved that game. That was phenomenal, and I love beat 'em ups. I bought the Shaq Fu game when they made the new Shaq Fu game. They're just fun. They're really something you really sink your teeth into. You can get in deep and really try to learn combos, or you can just get in and just start punching people in the face. With that being said, I want all of the developers out there listening, because I know they listen to the show. Obviously, it's where they get their content from.
I mean, I keep sending them the link. I don't know why they won't click on it.
I swear it's not a scam. Just click the link. Just please give me Tripwire. Like, I will pay the DLC. Just let me do it. Just let me have it. And a badger. Badgers have to be in the game. They have to be.
The Badger is not that unrealistic based on what I saw in this trailer. They're obviously going for a lot of deep cuts. I would never have expected to see the Invader everywhere. And that's the first time I've noticed that the little hammerhead detachable pods were in the water. So I like all of that. I mean, yeah. Again, the fact that Ripcord is one of the playable characters, when there's so many like more recognizable names that they could have pulled. Ripcord's also not very flashy. He has like kind of a basic green outfit, but I'm here for it. I think it's awesome. I'm just surprised. And the press release is naming like Serpentor and like some characters that you also don't always see in this type of games, because the Cobra Commander is kind of the face. So it sounds like they're doing a lot of deep diving. I'm very, very interested in hearing more of this. I'm actually really surprised that they kept it under wraps. Nobody knew about it. It's just they dropped the trailer and we were all like, whoa, where did this come from? So early next year, not really that far away. I don't see a price point on this, but I would, if I was just throwing a dart at the wall, I'd say $19.99 would probably be the sweet price point for a game like this. A lot of people lamenting that it's only coming out for PC and for the Switch right now, but it does say multi-platform support, later on. So all you like next-gen console guys, you'll still have an opportunity to get it at some point. It's weird that it's coming out for the Switch and the PC. But, I mean, beneficial.
Hey, that's great.
Because I have one.
Hey, we're going to have to sit down and actually do some couch co-op then. I love couch co-op on some Streets of Rage kind of game.
There's not, dude. If I'll play a crappy G.I. Joe game and get all the achievements, you better believe a good one. I'll burn it up. I'll play it all day, every day. I'll travel with me and make people play it. Did you do Operation Blackout? Did you get all the achievements? The only thing I didn't get is there's like a multiplayer achievement for having two people doing I don't know, something I could have easily done with two controllers, and I was just like, I'll do it someday. I have all the other achievements. I beat it on the hardest difficulty. I did all the stuff. I mean, it was
dedication.
I know people hate it, but it was. I mean, I've played way worse video games than that one. At least my love of the franchise is what kept me through it, and it had.
I feel like I feel like a little bit longer development time just to really iron things out, and it would have actually been a really solid game. Mm-hmm. There's just a few things that were real weird with it.
It's funny because they did a lot of interviews around the time it was coming out, and they seemed very dedicated to they were acknowledging some flaws in it. The controls were really bad. It was a serious delay. And they were like, we're going to work on it. And I don't know if I ever saw... I mean, I'm sure they did update it, but it did not get fixed. And then they did. Yeah. And they were eventually like, well, we got to move on because nobody else is buying it. So it is what it is. We've had some bad G.I. Joe games over the years. You get used to it, and you just accept that you're just happy that you get one at all, just like getting the movies, really. All right, so that's our short news items. We got to take a little bit of a deep dive and get caught up on what's going on in the very aggressive world of classified. All right, so I'm pulling up the most useful checklist in the classified world. It's from our friend Black Genghis over at Instagram. He continues to put together a checklist of classifieds that are been released, name-only reveals, you name it. You have to go check them out. Nobody does it as well as he does, and we thank him for his time and work. Looking at this roster, Jaren, I can safely say the first page is 1 through 50. I can check that off. I've got everybody 1 through 50. Are you on the same boat? Yeah.
Yep.
If I'm missing anybody, it would be like maybe one of these field variants. I don't think I ever got this roadblock field variant, because you get so lost in the weeds. We're 50, 60 in. I can't be backing up and getting.
Well, those
fixed.
those are the repaints. I think you got those, didn't you? The
Not
field
all of
variants
them, but because
Oh, really?
I didn't see them on the shelf. I pre-ordered some of them. I know I got the Scarlet and I know I got the Duke, but I don't think the Roadblock ever showed up. It just kind of went into the limbo. And then
I actually
they
love
released,
that roadblock. That's an
Well-
underrated roadblock.
They put that Amazon exclusive one out that's way more faithful. And so when I got that, I was kind of like, all right, this guy can kind of go. I'm trying to not put multiple versions of the same character out. I don't really have the room for any of them. So I certainly can't be doubling down on characters, not at the rate we're going. So going into the second page, it starts with Blue Ninjas at 51. We've cleared through all that. We've cleared through all the 60s or 260. It looks like the next figure that I don't have is Snow Job number 67.
Yep.
And I am under the impression. I mean, I think I've paid for him. I think
Yeah.
he ships. I think he ships like today or tomorrow. So he's on the way. 68, the Cobra Valkyries, I actually have right here. I got them in very recently. I obviously haven't opened them yet. Jaren, did you get your Cobra Valkyries in?
I did. I've got them. Of course, I didn't let you see them on my screen. I'm not sharing the screen with you for whatever reason. But yeah, I've got them. And luckily, my arms are all attached. I know some people were having problems with that, but I've got mine, and they're pretty fun.
Okay. Do you have any like short thoughts? Because I have not opened mine at all. Are the add-ons good? Like, is it good value for what you paid?
They're fine. I wouldn't be like I'm not like yeah they're great or anything, but I'm also like I don't feel like gypped.
Yeah.
I don't love the yellow. There's like the tan, whatever color you want to call it. I don't love how just in your face it is. But I like that they give you like the alternate heads. They give you two different helmets or three different helmets technically, so you can have one as like a field leader. And the blast effects are nice. I don't really use the blast effects, but for the people who like them, they're nice. And there's like ones you can plug into each other to kind of customize it. So they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is troop builders in general. I'm just kind of like, yep, that's a troop builder, all right. Bye. I'm really trying to prioritize unique characters at this point, but I don't want to miss out on anybody. I don't want to have to turn around and be like, oh, well, now that's a $125 box set. So again, I'm trying to get one of everything, no matter how invested I am. After that, we got a break of a wave that most of us have probably seen at this point: Arctic Bat, Shipwreck, Rock and Roll, Copperhead, Torpedo, Scrap Iron. I mean, maybe one of the best waves we've seen to date. That's a 5-star. Every one of those I got in, I was excited to open. I had fun playing with them. They are great. It was a great wave.
And most of them have tattoos, which makes it even better.
Number 75 is the San Diego Comic-Con Chuckles, which is in some people's hands internationally. I have no idea what's going on with that. Of course, the thing I've actually already paid for is not shipping anytime soon. Great. I'll just focus on all the stuff I can't afford. 76 is Range Viper. I don't know if how strong the awareness is around this, but Walmart had a price misstep. They priced them down to 0, and then they canceled a bunch of people's, and I was one of those people. I couldn't get back in to reserve it. I don't have a Range Viper pre-ordered. I know that they are also kind of in that in-between state where we're getting close to having them in hand, and some people have already managed to do that. Number 77 is Night Force Big Ben. Same deal. I do have that pre-ordered through Walmart, but no word on when that's coming. Walmart has definitely become the new target from when this line launched. Walmart is the least dependable retailer now. 78 is Tripwire, which was the deluxe box set. Haven't seen that, but again, I've seen people that have it in hand, so it's done. It's shipping. It's probably closer than we expect. I say that because we've been just getting bombarded lately. 79 is Televiper with the Cobra Flat Pod. I don't have this yet. It is on the way. Jaren, what's the status on yours?
Same thing. Mine, I've paid for it, and it should be shipping hopefully this week.
Yeah, I know people in real life that have received this already, and I've seen it out of the box via pictures. It looks great. I am excited to get it, even though I'm like, I can only afford to get this one. I can barely even afford that. But again, I wanted it. The deluxe sets have definitely become a bit of a thorn in my side. Number 80 is Nunchuck. No idea what's going on with that. 81 is Cobra Eel. I did get a Cobra Eel. I actually managed to score 2 of them. I got one from Amazon. I got one through Hasbro Pulse. I know that these are pretty popular. They're selling very well on the secondary market, and as of right now, I have not seen a restock, not of any with any substance. Jaren, did you get one or two eels?
I got 3. So I got 2 from where I don't even remember, and then I forgot I had one from Hazard Pulse. So I'm holding the box for the one I have from Hazard Pulse. I don't know if I want to open it or if I want to just like sell it or kind of hold on to it until someone that I know needs one.
Have you opened one at all?
Oh yeah, I've got them right here. Sorry.
What's your
Once again, you can't see them.
I can't. What's your out of box thoughts on him?
I love them. I know some people didn't like the torpedo, and these are very similar to the torpedo. So if you like the torpedo, you'll like these. He's got some there's like a really cool decal on like the back of his like little oxygen tank or jet boost thing. I think it's really cool. His gun does suffer from the same problem that torpedoes does. It's very flimsy. But I think they're super cool. I love the design of the helmets on these too. I really like that. But I like these a lot.
I would like to get some more of these, but obviously I'm not going to do it at anything beyond standard retail at this point. I've just noticed, Jaren, the number 82 is missing in action on this list. Do you have any idea what that might be?
Yeah, that's the PulseCon. That's what it says according to his tank. His tank is saying that that's 82. PulseCon 2023, Crimson Strike Team, Crimson Baroness, and Crimson Twins.
Oh, I see it on the digital renders over here. Okay. Well, I don't have anything to say about that anyway. 83 is Tunnel Rat. My Tunnel Rat is on the way. Jaren, I know you got yours early. I'm very excited for this figure, and we haven't really talked about it. What's your out of box thoughts of that?
Once again, just like every figure that I feel like I open it, I love it. The only thing that I did do with this one is, if you'll see on the video, the figure, he also comes with like a crossbody satchel and a few other things. I kind of removed a few things from around his body just so that he would he's got a little bit slimmer of a profile, except for he's got this huge honking gun. It's ginormous,
just like the original.
Yeah, he's got his little flashlights and stuff. I mean, he's a really cool figure. He doesn't have tattoos, but he's got markings, so I know you'll love that. But really cool figure. The only thing is, and I will try to see if I can get in here. There is no shin cut on this figure.
I wonder why.
I guess it's just the way the mold on the pants are. So, here's my Duke, my Tiger Force Duke. You'll see that his right on his shin can rotate, and that just adds a lot of maneuverability. Whereas with him, for some reason, they didn't give it to him. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, of all the figures that are kind of in limbo, that's the one I'm the most excited about, and that Chuckles I'm also really interested in seeing.
Yeah.
So past that, we've got 84 is the new redone Firefly. I've seen that's showing up in hand.
That looks phenomenal. The pictures I've seen.
I'm very excited for that. 85 is Crimson Viper. 86 is Lowlight. 87 is Grunt, which I've also seen many in-hand pictures of and looks very good.
Oh, yes.
Then we've got Shooter at number 90. Crimson Alley Viper at 91. Desert Commando Snake Eyes at 92. Did you get that?
I did. He's right here as well.
Okay, well, again, I guess I'll live vicariously through you. What are your out of... This is a weird one because this is not based on one of the original vintage Snake Eyes molds. So they've done a complete recoloration that is very kind of unusual. What do you think about it?
So he's very much like the deluxe Snake Eyes. It's that body mold entirely, just a repaint of it. So you know what you're gonna feel when you're playing with him. When I got him, it was kind of like I got him and the Tunnel Rat at the same time, and I was like, oh, he's kind of cool. And then now putting him on my shelf with all the other ones that are kind of in the same general design kind of color scheme, he looks really good. The only thing is he comes with a second sword, and I have nowhere to put him. I have nowhere to put the sword.
I know how much you hate that.
You got to take the one sword out and put the other sword in. So I guess he just has to hold one. You know, and I guess that's what am I supposed to do with a toy who has to hold his own weapons? I mean, sheesh.
I feel like he would be. You could get some good photo shoots with him and Dusty. Like that
Yes.
would be. You get some good stuff out of that.
Yeah, but I need to get him out. It's just I've been playing with him too much.
All right, so we got 93 is Snow Serpent, which is also on the way. 94 is Mole Rat, which is the new character that crosses over as part of the Energon universe. 95 is the Steelcore Troopers. 110 is Fireteam 788. Then, of course, we've got that Walmart Retro card line, which is over now. So that's 2, 4, 6. There was 8 of those total. Mixed reviews on that, but across the board, bad shipping. I'm glad that line is done. Quite frankly, it was a hassle to find and was rarely worth it. We've still got the old Cobra His Tank HasLab in the works, which I hear is arriving in the States, and
need it.
At the very least, yeah, we're looking at shipping sometime in the immediate future. I'm hoping. The Dragonfly also is kind of in our rear view, and as long as I've got the His Tank coming to tide me over, I won't be sweating the Dragonfly too much. Digital renders. We might as well get caught up with everything that's out there. We've got Shadow Tracker, which is already in box, arriving in certain places. Python Patrol Copperhead, Shockwave, Buzzer, Ripper, Helix. Python Patrol Officer V2, why not? General Hawk, the Crimson Strike Team, Clutch and the Vamp, the Techno Viper, and the SMS. Those are all figures that we've seen kind of the mock-ups of, with the exception of Shadow Tracker, which we've seen in the box.
Yep.
And then lastly, we have pipeline reveals. These are name-only reveals. We don't know anything else about them. We got a Quick Kick. We got Big Boa, Mutton Junkyard, Airborne, Doc, Jinx, Torch, and then a Retro Duke and a Retro Scarlet to go back and fix previous mistakes that they've decided to just stick with. I don't mind that modern Duke and Scarlet at all, but I definitely will be happy to see a Retro Scarlet, especially with the amount of progress they've done in sculpting recently. I feel like it's going to be a top tier mold across the board. Jaren, of the stuff that is not out yet, what's the one figure you're the most excited about?
Sorry, before we go on to that, there is a few that are not on this list yet.
Okay.
There is the Vipra.
Oh, that's right.
And then there's the Tiger Force Flint. And then Wolf Spider, the new figure. That's a new character.
I do
a
not
new
like
something.
How do you feel about Wolf Spider?
He's so generic that I already forgot what he looks like. Except for that he has like a covered face. Like there's no unmasked head. I remember that. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, of course we did. It's the first thing I always talk about. Is not having an unmasked head drives me crazy.
But to answer your question, honestly, maybe the Steel Core. Like, if maybe, I mean, I guess Grunt could also be there. Well, okay, let me be 100% honest. It's the Vamp. Not even the figure. It's the Vamp. I want that Vamp so bad. It's not even funny. Like, I've got a bunch of Vamps over here, over my shoulder. I love the Vamp. I can't wait to see. And then once we get the Vamp, then we'll get the Stinger. Maybe one day we'll get the Dreadnought, whatever it is. That repaint of the Vamp. So that's probably the number one is the Vamp.
Yeah, it's way up there for me too. Mine would probably be Helix, Clutch and the Vamp, and probably Airborne, as I'm very excited to see a digital reveal of that.
Although Mutton Junkyard, the pictures I've seen of Mutton Junkyard also. I
have
him on there.
Of all the stuff we're looking at here on the kind of on the right hand side, the only thing I got beef with is that Shadow Tracker, which I don't like at all. You've done faithful renditions of every character so far, which you had to go off book on my favorite modern Cobra of all time. So I don't like it. I just don't. I mean, I'll buy it, but
he's beautiful. I love him. I'm gonna want one for each head.
If they have to mess up Shadow Tracker a million times to get Helix right, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I've also, there's 2 more Python Patrol guys on here that I'm not really interested in, but the fact that they put the officer out again is a bit of a sticking point. That's fine. Everything in the pipeline though, across the board, I'm excited about all of that. By the time Torch gets here, we'll have like the primary Dreadnought lineup, plus Zartan and Zarana. So I feel like that's coming together very well.
We just need Xandar. Give me Xandar.
Yeah, they got to make a Xandar. It will wound me if they don't make a Xandar. I know he's not very popular, but that's part of why I love him, because he's supposed to be the dude that people forget about. But just this once, give him a figure, because he's great and he's got a lot going on for him. He's super cool. And then
he's got 2 fans, and it's me and you.
and then I want a Zanya, because that would be a rad looking figure that fits in well, with what we're doing, kind of blending our continuities. All right, so that's everything that's coming, everything that's going that I can keep up with, and that leads us into the main part of our conversation today, which is how much stuff is hitting right now, how hard it is for me to stay on top of it. And I actually want to talk to you first, Jaren, because one, you are way more restrained when it comes to this stuff than I am, and two, if I'm not mistaken, are you backing the Ghost?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'm actually surprised to hear that, because I know other people that are backing it that have been scrambling to keep it together, and I was going to wonder the logistics of how you were going to make that happen.
I want the Ghost, but not just the financial strain, the literal strain of where I'm going to put this. By the time we get the Ghost, we'll already have the Dragonfly, we'll already have the Hiss. So then we'll probably be 2 more G.I. Joe HasLabs in, and I really do want to keep getting them as long as they don't start going into that $500-$600 range. That's a lot of money to swing on one toy. For me, it's just, granted, recently it's been hitting at one time, so, but yeah, I can't swing it.
I looked at the Ghost and was like, this looks awesome, and I would love to have it, because I would do something G.I. Joe related with it. I'd make it Star Brigade or something like that, and because the interiors of it is amazing. I was like, the diorama stuff you could do with it would be amazing. And I don't know Star Wars Rebels at all, so the ship to me doesn't have any familiarity. It doesn't strike. I'm not like, I can't not see the Millennium Falcon. I don't have that. But obviously the price point is way outside my range. Yeah. When I say I'm struggling to keep it going, it has been a paycheck to paycheck hustle with Classified right now. The Trouble Bubble came back and I didn't have the money for it at the time. I had to be like on payday. I was like, try it again. Probably just a mistake. So now I'm cutting way back on Classifieds because there's too much hitting at once. I can't keep it afloat, and realistically, I've already don't have enough room to store the extra stuff that I've gotten. So I'm trying to cut back to just one of everything, regardless if I'm going to open it or not. That's depends on the figure itself. And then if I can find them again later at a discounted rate, or maybe just when things slow down, then I would maybe try to pick one up to keep in box. It's not easy to store an unopened of 6-inch figures of this scale. When I started it, I was like 1 and 1, no problem. There's only 5 figures in this wave, and they're hard to find. Now I've got stuff. I just got stuff in the mail. I've got stuff on the way. I've got notifications that stuff is getting ready to come out. And it's like multiples, like this Trouble Bubble thing. Snow Job's a deluxe version. I just paid for scrap iron. Like, it's not just, wrangle up your $24.99 shipping anymore. It's like, this is like $40 or $50 purchases. And I first experienced this when Serpentor and Mindbender came out, and I was like, oh, I really want to get one of each. And those were really expensive. Like, they're in between $60 $80, somewhere like that. And you start to realize, holy moly, I really am like hemorrhaging a lot of money for stuff that doesn't have any like short-term value. If I'm going to resell it, I'm not going to resell it for like 10 years probably. And if I'm keeping it just to like, because I like the box art, I like having one that I know I'm not going to mess up. But I have nowhere to store it. I've started moving that stuff into the garage. I have all this other stuff. If you could see my room, there's no clean corner. It's always like the stuff that I bought at Kentuckiana is still on the other side of this table in front of my TV. I'm like, I don't have anywhere to put it. It's not that I'm a slob. Well, but I don't know. Something has to go for me to add something new, and I'm kind of always got something coming in. So yeah, I'm really like struggling with the mentality of just one of each, and even then, I gotta kind of take it on a case by case basis. I can't be. Thank God that they made me pay for the HasLabs in advance because I can't fathom. Like if I was sweating all this and I had to think about the ghost, I'd probably just like cancel everything and come back in like 6 months and be like, all right, let me see what I missed and maybe I can recoup some of the damages. But
Yeah.
what's like, and you're collecting Star Wars stuff also. So how do you know when you like got to back off and how do you do it in a way where you still feel like you're accomplishing what you want to accomplish as a collector?
So the big thing for me with Star Wars is I stopped getting any. For the most part, I stopped getting multiples of any character. So like when they announce a new Han Solo from Endor, they just released a 40th anniversary, and I didn't touch it because I'm like I have the same figure from the box set. That's a big thing, especially in Star Wars because they re-release a lot of them. I also am mostly only collecting like clones, Mandalorians. That's pretty much it. Like, I don't know how much you can tell from the video, but my back shelf is from one side, it goes from clones. On the other side, it's Mandalorians, and then there's a Darth Vader and a couple Stormtroopers. That's all the Black Series that I have out right now. Over here, I don't know. Once again, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got the new wave of the Bad Batch. Those were repaints, but they were like repaints that I actually liked maybe more than the regulars. I don't know why. At first, I thought they looked way too cartoony, and now I love them, especially having them in hand. And then, so like, now Black Series has kind of taken the back seat. There's some figures that are out that I want to get, but I'll just wait until next time Hasbro does a big sale. And if it's not an exclusive with Star Wars, they almost always go down. And I don't want to do that with G.I. Joe. I don't want to do that, but if they keep delaying things for so long and then 6-8 months worth of stuff hits within a week, I can't. It's not feasible for me. I thought my wife was going to shoot me the other day. I had 14 packages on our porch when I got home, and I was like, I thought she was going to make me make a house out of those cardboard packages. It's because Walmart ships everything different. Like I got the whole Bad Batch wave. Everything was in a different box. So 6 figures or whatever it was, all were in 6 separate boxes. So it was just insane. And they've got to figure out how to get these things to start hitting in intervals, because if it keeps all popping up at once, I don't know how anybody's going to be able to collect the whole line, and that's going to hurt the line in the long run. You're going to have long periods where stores don't move off of product because they've got too much, and then lulls where, heck, actually stores still don't even get the right product. I can't remember the last time I went to our Target or Walmart and found a G.I. Joe that wasn't, like at Walmart, it's only been Lady J, and that's pretty much it at our Walmarts, and then it seems like actually at our Targets a lot of times it's still Lady J and Flint and that wave. Like, it's just, I don't know. They got to figure something out there. It's going to hurt a lot of people in the long run.
Yeah, the Walmart that's near me does not even have a spot for G.I. Joe any longer. So I don't know what's going on with that. And I hit a Target this week, and the only thing they had was the Tiger Force Dusty, which is an obvious peg warmer. Yeah, the disconnect between like what is on the shelf and what you might as well just wait to show up in your mailbox is worlds apart. Yeah. I would be interested in hearing what listeners and viewers are we unique in this? Are you also feeling a financial crunch? How do you adapt to that? Do you have to sacrifice what you're collecting? Do you change the way you're collecting? I've been selling a lot of stuff on eBay simultaneously because that helps me kind of money coming in, money going out. But everybody has a different approach. If you have a unique perspective on that, or you have handled it a specific way and you'd like to share that with us, you can leave us a comment here in our YouTube video. You can reach out to us at anythingjoespodcast@gmail.com or anythingjoespod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. All right, so let's put a pin on that because we got to run over to recent acquisitions because I got some.
Sorry. Okay, I'm
Elmer
good.
Fudd. So there's only one thing on recent acquisitions that I really need to talk about, and that's because I've been working with this guy that I found through Facebook that was looking to sell off a lot of FSS figures, a lot of con figures, a lot of rarities and exclusives. And I'm always interested in that because I have a lot of little holes here and there where I've tried to piece a lot of that stuff together over the years. Well, this guy had some very good stuff at some very good prices. The first thing this guy was selling was a convention exclusive Voltar, which I missed out on, and it wounds me even now to say it out loud. But it's what attracted me to him because it was like he was asking like $100. This is easily like probably a $250 figure. It's from the JoeCon convention sets where you had to buy like 14 figures to get all of them. Well, I missed out on that, and I was bummed about it. He put up another figure. He put up the Dr. Biggles Jones figure, which is the female scientist from the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover part of A Real American Hero, and she was made from the Collectors Club as part of it was like 3 figures and 2 robots or something, and it's a great figure. It's probably like a $100 figure. I got it for $40. So we're off to a good start.
Dang.
And I got this figure because I actually wanted to modify it a little bit. And I feel weird modifying figures if I don't have one that's kind of untouched. So I bought this one specifically to improve, is the way I would put it. If you don't follow us on Twitter, which is Anything Joe's Pod, you go check it out. I posted a picture of it like maybe a week or 2 ago. I had a custom painted head that I added because her head bolt is very weak. I changed her jacket. And I talked to Joel from Order of Battle, who's a big customizer. We brainstormed some stuff and came together with I think is a very good formula. It's a really, really good figure for her. Like, I'm very, very happy with it. Much happier than the initial offering. So I got that. Well, and that opened the door because I know sometimes when you see deals that are these good, you're immediately like, that's a scam. And you should be like that, quite frankly. But I thought this is, not a substantial transaction. And I paid, of course, goods and services. This is a no-brainer. But if you don't purchase a lot of stuff online and you don't know the person, you always pay goods and services. Because if you pay friends and family, there's no protection. If they can just take your money and give you nothing, and there's nothing, that's it. You're out of luck. Friends and family should only truly be used for friends and family. And even then, family, iffy. So I paid goods and services, so I thought I'm covered. It came in, and I thought, okay, this guy's on the level. Let's dig a little deeper, as is natural for anybody that's a hardcore collector. So I said, all right, dude, this was a good transaction. I'm happy with it. What else have you got? Okay, so I started buying some more stuff. He had the convention-exclusive EcoForce set, which is Flint, Clean Sweep, and Ozone. Those were all unopened. And it was very, very cheap. I actually don't know the specifics. It was between $60 and $80 for all 3 of them. You could probably get that for each individual figure. And he also had a repulsor, which is from the same, not the same set. Yeah, it is from the same set. There's like a Eco Force versus Tuxo Zombie set. Repulsor comes with a zombie dog. That was also very cheap. It was like, I think, $60. And I bought it because I bought it to sell. Because I started thinking I could actually buy these, resell them, make money, and then use that profitability to buy stuff from him that I actually want to keep, like that Dr. Biggles Jones. There's always a little bit of financial finagling when you need a little more money than you've got available at that time, knowing that you can make some of it back. So I started making some deals on some stuff, some to sell, some to keep. So I bought the EcoForce set, and I also bought this. This is the San Diego Comic-Con Sergeant Slaughter. It's the variation. He has a different color shirt, different pants. He came with different accessories. Now, this Sergeant Slaughter doesn't have any accessories except for his whistle, which it would have been the one thing that would have been a deal breaker, quite frankly. And he doesn't come with his stand, which is also not a huge deal for me. This is I've seen these sealed on card sale for $300. It's probably a $100 to $150 figure, even like this. Maybe I might be misjudging it because he's missing so many accessories, but that wasn't important to me. Also, I have the other Sergeant Slaughter, and it's signed by Sergeant Slaughter, so I was never going to open it, and I didn't have one to play with. So despite the fact that this is more valuable, and I got such a good deal on it, that it eliminates the temptation. I will play with it. Why wouldn't I? It's open. So I like when that works out. I got Sergeant Slaughter and the EcoForce set for $110. That's a steal. That's a steal.
Yeah.
Any hardcore, if you're, I don't know how many hardcore modern collectors we have out there, but those people know what's up. So I went back again. This gentleman has an interesting way of dealing with what he's selling. He's like pulling some stuff out, like 5 or 10 figures at a time, lets me look at them. We make a deal. He ships them, and then we do it again. Instead of just like pile of looting at BBTS style, we've done several small transactions, sometimes on a day-to-day basis based on what he shows me. So I got that, and then I also bought that repulsor to resell, and I bought an FSS figure that I did have but not opened, and it's this Steel Raven. This Steel Raven is from the FSS wave, and she is from G.I. Joe Extreme. She is like Iron Claw's second in command, and uses the head from Crimson Asp, which is a con figure that I love quite a bit. Is not complete. A lot of his figures are missing file stand or the bases, but she came with her guns. She has her hat. That's like, again, the stuff that I had to have.
Yeah.
So I got Steel Raven and Repulsor for $110.
Dang.
To put that in perspective, I have resold that Repulsor already, and I sold him for about $100. So I'm doing pretty good already. And it's not so much about making money as it is about just trying to break even. Anytime I'm doing a deal like this, I'd like to, if I make a little, I can spend a little more and get a little more. That, I know that's probably a slippery slope, but I don't have them here, but I also picked up 2 con exclusive lab rats, which are basically like Mindbender's assistants. They wear lab coats. They have like vials. They do chemical work or science stuff for Mindbender. I got 2 of those for $100, so $50 each. Those tend to trend at $80 a piece, probably is what I've seen them at. And these were complete. They had everything, and that was perfect because I only had one, and I actually needed that one for a custom. So now that kind of frees me up, and I have 2 now, which is, I mean, when you're troop building $80 figures, 2 is a lot, quite frankly. Even that guilts me to where I'm like, maybe I should sell one of them, but I'm not. All right, so I went back again. This is on the same day. Look, I'm looking at these transactions to remind me what I got and how much I paid. Got some more FSS figures. These are good ones that I also didn't have opened, but really wanted to have so I could play with them. I've explained this stance before, but on figures that are expensive like this, if I like them, if I got them new, I have a hard time opening them because I know they're very valuable if they're unopened. So I try to get a second one when I can, if at a good price, in any condition. Really is fine, because I can play with it. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's there's a $100 Darklon FSS figure, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna play with it in the dirt. I'm gonna do diorama stuff with it. I'm gonna pose him. If something happens to him, that's okay. I got another one. I know that's not a flaw-proof theory, because if something happens to him, then I still won't have one to play with. But that's for future Greg to figure out. So I got that Darklon, which is, I'm really big on modern figures that don't have a modern version, and FSS did a lot of that. The problem is, a lot of people felt that way, so they're very expensive figures. That Darklon is, probably in the $100 range. This Raptor that I picked up is also probably, opened and close to $100 as well.
That's sweet.
I do really like this. This is a repaint of the Night Viper. Club was very clever when they wanted to be. It's a real good looking figure, and I've never, these are figures that I have and have never actually played with. So to me, it's still like there's always a little bit of that like childlike joy opens up because I'm like, oh, I can play with these. And again, as I described, it's guilt free. If something happens, I'm okay. So I got that Raptor, that Darklon, and 2 Toxo Vipers for $150. I've already told you that those figures, I mean, I can't imagine them even as is selling for less than $80. And I got 2 Toxo Vipers. Also, again, from the EcoForce set, they're just Toxo Vipers, just modern ones. They made Toxo Vipers and they made Toxo Zombies. And then there's also Zombie Vipers. So they all are in some level of progress. No, I've got stuff that I don't have on my list either. But for sure, I bought this very rare Night Force Chuckles, which came in a 2-pack with a female called Freestyle, who is a character that I love a lot, that I paid a lot of money for because I wanted her, because she was a one-off character. She's never had a figure made before. This was her first figure ever. I needed it, and I got it. I paid a premium. I love it. That's fine. This Chuckles, on the other hand, I was like, oh, this is like a $200 figure, and there are better Chuckles out there. It's a great figure. I mean, like, I'll get you right up on him. You take a good look at him. It's a cool looking figure. He's got great gear. You know, his shirt is like a subdued gray, and I didn't know this until I got him in, but his flowers on his shirt glow in the dark, which I think is very cool.
That's sick. I love
This is
glow in the dark.
This is a really good figure. Was it not worth $200? Not in my opinion, but it is worth what I paid for it, which is $50. Probably never get a deal like that ever again. Like, these are all criminally undersold, in my opinion. When I talked about this deal to people, because it's exciting when something like this happens. I always am just like, yippee, I got a deal. Inevitably, everybody that I talked to, didn't matter if it were my coworkers, my wife, my other G.I. Joe friends, they always said, why is he selling them so low? And I'm like, well, I don't really want to poke that bear and be like, hey, why are you giving me such a great deal? Do you know how much these are worth? I don't want to rip anybody off, but this guy's selling them on Facebook Marketplace. I'm just Joe Schmo. If I didn't get him, somebody would. But it got me thinking. Enough people asked over enough time, and I had gotten enough great deals that I felt like I didn't have anything to lose at this point. So I said, hey, why are you just like liquidating your stock? Something I understand, something a lot of us are doing right now to keep up with classified stuff. Or you're just getting out of it? And he said, no, I am switching what he's like investing in, is kind of how he described it. And he showed me a bunch of vintage era Joes. So he is kind of like getting out of modern stuff, especially the really valuable stuff. And he was buying a lot of like neon era 90s like stuff that you would be into. He's real big into all the stuff that he's like,
the good stuff.
EcoForce, Toxo Zombie stuff. That's kind of the stuff he's buying in the vintage era. And I mean, I'm not going to judge anybody, man. I think it's crazy that what I paid for this stuff is a lot of money for a single figure. So whatever, that's what he was doing with the money that I was paying him. And I was just curious. And I think that's cool to see that people pivot from, this to that, or, people have given up on classified for whatever reason, and they pivot to another toy line, or they switch over. Not all of us can be cursed with wanting something from everything. Me over here like Christmas ornaments. Yeah, I'll work that into the budget. I have thought about that stupid clock for so long. I'm just like, I just got to figure out a way to make the money to buy it, because it's too dumb for me. I'm going to put it right here. And every hour on the hour, it's going to be like a little snake eyes is going to come out and be like, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. I have to see it in action. I don't think it's shipped to anybody yet, but I want it so bad. It's just like that coin, that outrageously stupid coin. There's a threshold where you're like, oh, this is too dumb, too expensive, gotta have it because of that. So anyway, great modern deal. I might even be leaving stuff out. Like, I can't keep up with how much I got. Like I said, I did resell some of that right away, because I had to. You don't have to do the math to see that I spent a lot of money. It was such a great deal. I thought if I can just sell a little bit of it, I'll never find deals like this again. These are figures like this Sergeant Slaughter figure has been on my list forever. I would have never found him at that price, and it works out for me because I want them to be loose, and I want them to be cheaper as a result of that. Oftentimes, if I'm buying, it doesn't have to be something that's a duplicate or not. If I want a figure, the first thing I do is to look for a loose, used one that's maybe missing something that's not crucial. And if I can get a great deal on that, that's where I start. And if I can't, then I start looking at carded ones. But I know that if I buy a carded one, it's going to stay carded for quite a while. But at the rate I'm going, maybe I'll have a whole second FSS set someday, and it won't matter, because I have been racking them up. But I'm really, really happy with this. This is a huge score. Even though I didn't get a ton of stuff, the value and the stuff that I'm able to mark off my list, I would say makes it probably my score of the year thus far. And that's tough based on that amazing vintage lot I got off of Brian. that really upgraded my vintage collection. That was two really great things that happened to me this year. Since we started this show, I find myself, that's like, we are finding more great deals like this in a time where it's hard to do. So I'm just living in it and loving it. It really is. It's the excitement of getting something that you really wanted, getting in a deal that you just about couldn't get anywhere else, and then the fun of it comes in the mail. You get to unwrap it, you get to examine it. I'm like, where am I going to display this? Buying figures like these kind of always wakes me up. Like, I get in Steel Raven, a character that is a real D-lister from the Fringe cartoon, and the next thing you know, I'm at work, writing stories in my mind, just kind of like, not for any purpose, just imagining stuff. And she'll show up because it like works into my like subconscious, and I love it. That's exactly how I want it. It's why I pay a premium for some figures, because I think about them so much, and I'm like, I want to work them into my universe, and I can't do it if I don't own the figure, which is brutal. But it's fine. It keeps me motivated on multiple levels. Acquiring this lot definitely hurt me to keep up with what I was trying to do on Classified. I also had to cancel this whole new wave of Eagle Force figures, which is shipping. I went back after I got paid and picked up the 4 of them that I was the most the most excited to get. But yeah, and then I also had to go back and be like, no doubles of anything, because I will often be like, oh, this is live, pre-ordered here, pre-ordered here, pre-ordered here. Yeah. And then I forget to cancel it, or Hasbro recently has been real shady about being like, it's too late to cancel it. I'll be like, have you shipped it? Nah, but we can almost see it in the window. I'm like, come on. So I've gotten hosed by that multiple times. So I'm going to be a lot more careful. I'm not going to play the first in, first out game anymore. I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to pre-order it, and I'll patiently wait. If it's the only figure I know I'm going to break that rule on is Helix. Hello, listeners. If you find Helix overseas, international, anywhere, at any price, message me directly, and I will pay it. I want this figure so bad. I can't wait to see it. And that's the one figure I'm willing to pay a premium for. Everything else I can kind of wait on. I'm still excited to get it, but cannot be paying the high dollar amount for stuff that will come on its own eventually. Last note, just this morning, I guess yesterday morning, depending on what time clock you want to go by, our YouTube channel passed 1,000 subscribers. And that is a huge deal for us. We, when we started this show, and just barely 2 years old, we weren't sure if we would find an audience at all, if we would be entertaining enough for people to listen to us regularly. And we far exceeded those expectations. I never had a metric in mind when we started this. I just wanted to know that we would connect with enough people to kind of build a small community. And we are doing that. And I love it. So to all of you, the people that have subscribed, the people that are our regular listeners, the people that write in emails or message us on Facebook or interact with us on social media, thank you. You have no idea how much it means to us. We will never be anything other than a humble fan cast for something that we both are truly passionate about. But the friendships that we have made along the way, that's so cheesy, but I mean every word of it. The people that we are connecting with and interacting with on a regular basis has meant a tremendous amount to me. I've made good friends through this show. I still love recording this with Jaren every week. I look forward to it. I think about it all the time. And so it's very rewarding to know that there are other people out there that enjoy the work that we're putting into it. And we listen to every single person. We might not write you back right away, but if you write in and even if it's something as simple as, hey, do more cartoon episodes because that's what I like, it counts. We make a note of it, and we try because we want to make what you guys want to hear and view. You are the reason that we do this. And I mean, again, we appreciate you so much. You can contact us directly through our email at anythingjoespodcast@gmail.com or anythingjoespod@gmail.com. You can find me over at Twitter at anythingjoespod. You can find Jaren on Instagram at anythingjoespod. You can also find our Facebook page under Anything Joes, and of course, if you're here on our YouTube, it's just regular Anything Joes as well. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in just 2 short weeks, where anything's available for discussion here on Anything Joes.